What's one piece of HR jargon you wish would disappear?
Review.
What are the major challenges which you think are there when you're trying to really have those benefits and policies for the employees, which is a mix of all these workforces?
I would say that anything which enhances collaboration, transparency.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this podcast series, which is called Tallect Talks. In this, basically, we are doing some chit chat, but at the same time, on a serious note, we will have exchange of experienced insights from industry experts, specifically in HR leadership, total reports expertise. And today, we have a very special and experienced, also, I would add, dashing Gautam Rao, who is Senior Vice President and heading the Center of Excellence at Max Life Insurance. Welcome, Gautam.
Thank you so much, Neha. I thought it was on a lighter note. You said on a serious note. I was
Absolutely.
building up the pressure on me, Neha.
I absolutely said it very, very seriously. Welcome, Gautam.
Thank you.
For taking out time
Thank you.
coming for this shoot today.
Pleasure is all mine.
Great. So I think let's start a round of introduction.
Sure. So it's been 19 years that I've been into the field of HR. I have worked with different organizations. To begin with, I started my career with a recruitment firm by the name of Unison International. And thereafter, I moved on to Walmart. Walmart was just entering India at that point in time. And I was a part of the journey when they were scaling up, maybe from the first 50 employees to about 15,000 employees. I was fortunate enough to be a part of this great journey. I moved on to Bosch & Lomb then, where I was managing India and Sri Lanka. I was reporting to the head of HR for some time and thereafter to the CEO. And after that, I joined Max Life Insurance. It's been a very long journey here. I'm about to complete 10 years. I've been into different roles, starting from HR business partnership to talent management. And now I'm heading the Center of Excellence for HR, which comprises of compensation benefits, HR operations, HR digital, and multiple other things. So, it's been an exciting journey till now, and I'm really fortunate enough. God has been kind, I would say. So, journey has been very good till now. I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, it should continue in the same manner.
Oh, absolutely, it will. So, what a fabulous journey, Gautam. I think I will start with my first question from your journey. So, what has been those decision-making factors when you were switching, let's say, for example, from one organization to another? And there are two aspects which I want you to discuss on it. One is that what was yours, and how do you see that changing now for the professionals who are making that decision when you are interviewing them or when you are interacting with them?
Mm. In hindsight, when I look at it, there must be multiple factors at play when you change a job, when you look for an opportunity. But when you walk into an office, the kind of vibe that you get there and the people who interview you, they are actually shaping up your decision as to whether you would like to work for that organization or not, because they're the face of the organization. Whether it was Walmart or it was Bosch & Lomb or even Max Life Insurance. I think how you get welcomed at the time of the interview process, the vibe that you get when you see people working, walking, is it a hush-hush place or is it something which is loud enough where people are talking, mingling with each other, running with papers, shouting for help? It makes you believe and link yourself whether you are a part of this kind of a culture or not. And so it is. It has been mostly those factors that I've kept in mind, that I should move to a place where I feel more belonged to, and that's why, barring the COVID, before COVID, who used to take virtual interviews? Interviews are always in person, and I'm glad that I was a part of those processes, because unless that would have happened, I would have maybe made wrong choices. And needless to say, whosoever gives you more moolah, you work for them.
Absolutely. Okay. Now that when you're talking about the moolah, and of course, there are other factors in terms of your learning, in terms of the priorities, in terms of the career stage you are in, you will obviously take your decisions. But other than that, in this change scenario, especially after COVID, wherein a lot of things changing the way interviews are taken now, how do you think the trends which are changing, both from the employer side while assessing the candidate, and from the employee's side by assessing the organization. So, what are those factors which are now different and they are playing out differently? Wherein let's say the employer is just not looking at the skill set, but at the same time evaluating and assessing the culture pigment. Okay, all the more kind of workforce which is in place now, it's a, it's I would say it's a mix in that manner, which is drastically different from each other, right? And from the employee's end, not just the compensation, the amount which you see in your offer letter, but all the other factors which play a very, very important role. Like, for example, you rightly pointed out whether, the employees are very quietly sitting at their desk and not talking to each other, or whether it's that kind of environment which is very lively, energetic, and that's what I look for, right? From both aspects.
See, a lot has changed, and needless to say, it'll keep changing. It's an evolving world. Preferences change. They don't change just with the organizations. They also change with the life stage that you are in. When I was in my, say, mid-20s, early 30s, the reasons why I would choose an organization may be a little different than why I would choose an organization now. And it is because of the life stage that you're at. It is also because of the learnings that you want to have, the voids that you want to fill in your professional career. So that is from an employee perspective. And needless to say, now the construct of the workplace in terms of the demographics of the organization are changing very drastically. So if I were to reflect on the recent changes, I would say 2 or 3 top of the mind that come to play. First is faster gratification. There used to be a time when people used to get promoted in 5 years, 6 years. There is instant gratification which people are looking for now. So the difference between the performance and the reward is diminishing. You give someone a promotion after 3 years, they will say, you keep it with yourself. I will move faster. Second is, I would say, from a level-based pay to more skill-based pay. I bring a certain skill set to work. If I'm generating more value, I don't care about your level. I should be paid for the skill that I'm bringing to work rather than the level that you're providing me. So, hierarchy plays very or almost no role, very less or no role when it comes to this generation. The third thing that I feel is more on the fact that because the skills that they're working on, they know we were relatively more unsure of what we want to do in future. If I look at my son right now, he is relatively sure. He said that I want to move into corporate law. Now, we used to say science, commerce, or arts.
Right.
And then came a generation which said that, okay, I would like to make my career in finance or non-finance. And then some people said, I want to be a lawyer. And now there is even further, sharpness to it, that I want to do corporate law. I'm not interested in civil law or criminal law. I want to do corporate law. Now, information, how should I say, Google has democratized information. There are so many platforms where information is so readily available. It wasn't at in our times, and hence people can make the decisions a little more informed and faster.
Oh, absolutely. I think from this conversation, I'm now thinking that whether we have the right resources and tools which are available to really ensure we are able to really cater to all these different stages for an employee. Okay. What do you think that are the major challenges when you have to really, because one of your vertical is total rewards for you when you head the Center of Excellence? What are the major challenges which you think are there when you're trying to really have those benefits and policies for the employees, which is a mix of all these workforces, and what are the solutions for it?
I would say that anything which enhances collaboration, transparency, two-way dialogue, all those tools are very critical for any organization's success. And the reason why I say so is, just referring back to the previous answer that I gave you. If you're not having a two-way dialogue and you're just shooting in the dark basis your understanding of a particular problem, you're heading for a doomsday. So it's not too far. What's relevant is you keep listening, logically respond. There are a lot of organizations who go till the last mile, collect tons of feedback, come back and put it in their drawers. It's not going to, work for long, because people will also see beyond a point. They will say, "Aap aate ho, feedback lete ho, chale jate ho. So what's the point of doing this exercise?" And they will, they will stop participating.
Right.
What's important is that you stay relevant. So you listen to the last mile and work on that feedback. And if you're not doing anything which employees are expecting to do, go back, logically explain what is the risk. And second is transparency. Holding information, not enabling supervisors or people managers via technology, enabling them to access data for their teams at any time of the year, making them so dependent on your HR partners. This just slows down the pace of the organization. Organizations want to grow, people want to grow, and when you want growth, you have to unleash speed in the organization.
Great. I think I absolutely agree on that. I think the audience would like to really know, what about pay equity? Do we have the right resources? I know we have a lot of data, but do we have the right resources which would be able to really crunch that entire data and help us get over with all kinds of pay disparities or ensure that we have equal pay for equal work?
So, I do believe that transparency in pay definitely is one element which we are already good in that journey. I would not say that we are bad. And the example that you called out for startups, at that point in time, they're in an acquisition stage, whether clients, whether employees. So, their comp strategy has to be different because they are not an established player in the market. So they will obviously offer more money, maybe offer very lucrative designations to attract people. The question is about sustainability. If you grow at that pace, will you stay a very sustainable? Will you sustain these policies and practices? So I do believe that over a period of time, while transparency will also improve, but it won't go at an individual level where you will be transparent in saying that X is coming with this salary or Y is coming with this salary. I do believe a greedy man is always poor. And that brings us to the question of equity that you asked. Are there resources? No, there are no ready resources. It has to be enabled by tools. It has to be enabled by digital platforms.
Right.
But yeah, are the organizations making an effort to understand where exactly are we in terms of our pay equity? At least at Max Life, we do that. So we look at men and women. If there are people who are doing the same role, are we discriminating? Not, or are we biased, or even unconscious bias towards paying women less and men more? We always keep our eyes and ears open to that factor, and we believe that the value that you're generating, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the experience also, by the way, if you are in that role, then you will be paid what the market is paying for that role. And if we are an organization which want to be competitive than the market, then we will pay you a competitive salary irrespective of your gender. So that is a stance that organizations must take.
Yes. Thank you, Gautam. So quickly, if you could talk about that, I'm sure you're doing the active listening. What are some of those 3 or 4 things which your current organization is doing to ensure that all that active listening is put to action?
Okay. So there are multiple listening platforms that we have in our organization, and I'm sure most organizations do this. First and foremost being where the leadership reaches out directly to the employees once in a month, and you say, this is a town hall, ask me anything. This kind of a behavior promotes transparency. It builds confidence. When you're told, ask me anything, which means you're like an open book. There is nothing to hide. At least that builds confidence in the employees. The second way is you go back and you do discreet surveys. There are sometimes people are not confident asking questions openly in public, or they fear retaliation. Now that's a separate problem to solve at a cultural level if people feel that there is a fear of retaliation. But I do believe that you should always go once in a year through a digital platform where you mask the name of the person but provide the feedback that the person is providing. So yes, going back to the employees, listening to them is always important. Now you can define the rhythm: quarterly, yearly, semi-yearly, annually. You can define those rhythms, but the only way to succeed is listen to your customers. That's what you do as a prudent business strategy, right? If there is any feedback for me as a business, who is the best feedback provider? My customer. So in an organization context, it is the employees. You should never leave any stone unturned to reach to this feedback.
Point, I think. Yeah. My question is specifically to the programs, which as an HR we are offering to the employee, considering employee as a customer for the organization. Are we changing there by really designing some of these personalized or very, very customized or specific programs for them
Yeah.
and changing ourselves?
It is. That's why I started my answer saying that you have no choice. I mean, if you want better adoption of your programs, policies, then you have to stay relevant. I remember this. One of my supervisor told me about this. That in life, if you don't expand, you shrink. Which means even if you're constant, you're shrinking because the world around you is expanding. So now look at it from an organization context. If as an organization you're not adapting to change, then you're becoming irrelevant. Beyond a point, you will lose all your steam as an organization, and hence curated programs for supervisors, curated programs for execution excellence. पहले हम एक प्रोग्राम करते थे communication skills. Now you have to go into what is communication actually. There is a separate program for boardroom communication, which is top management communication. There is a program on articulation skills. There is a program on better listening. All these are parts of communication, but now you're going down and breaking it further because that's the need of the hour. Because some employees are weak in their, say, social presence. If you put them in a boardroom or in front of a large audience, they will quake in their boots. But if you ask the same person to maybe do a conversation one-on-one or with 2 or 3 people, the person will be more comfortable. So you have to change gears. You have to become more relevant. Craft your programs in line with what the employees are expecting. I'll give you one classic example of what Max Life is doing. There are about 1,000 people who join us every month, and they join us in various parts of the country. And when they join us, depending on the trainer quality, depending on the style of delivery, each person can have a different experience of the entire induction program. What we did, we are going out and doing induction in metaverse now, effective 1st of January. In first time in the insurance industry, we are going to see that the entire induction will happen in a metaverse format. So which means that if someone is doing this induction virtually, they will experience our office as if the leader is sitting in the office and talking, our cultures, practices. They will go through each of our floors without physically, coming here. It is one of its kind. It's a very ambitious, bold bet. But now, did the employees reach out to us and said, please do metaverse? No, they didn't know about it, right? So some bit of introspecting is required at your end. And there are some feedback that you should take from the employees and implement there.
Brilliant. I think this is the first time I'm hearing actually, because, as part of my journey when I was in one of the university, they actually introduced this entire campus tour thing in the metaverse. So, and obviously metaverse is anything which is new in the market. Everybody is very excited about it, and they kind of just look at it from that perspective and don't think that, it's working there, but it can work in this manner also. So I think suddenly that moment has come for me, in this conversation. Thank you for bringing that up. So Gautam, I think now I would, or the audience would like to really hear, in today's era, the retention is very, very, the time duration for any professional has reduced drastically. In your case, you have been, if I'm not wrong, with Max Life Insurance for almost 8 or 9 years now?
Yeah.
Or more than that?
Yeah.
So what has made you really stick to the organization for such a long period of time? What are those differentiated? And I'm sure the moolah and all the other factors came across your way. So what made you really stay back at your current organization?
On a lighter note, maybe lack of any other good opportunity.
That I clarified, by the way.
No, I'm just joking there. Multiple things. Why do you change an organization? You change an organization for more money. You change an organization for new roles, better co-workers, more intellectual stimulating conversations. I got all of it in one place. Um, in these 10 years, every 2.5 years, I've moved into a new role. So the set of learning, the set of intellectual stimulation that I'm talking about um, happened in the same organization. So I didn't feel the need to go anywhere.
I think that's a very holistic, overall view about the reasons that you stayed back. And I think definitely is going to help the audience to really ponder and think over it.
Yeah.
And like we said, that today's scenario, for every individual, it's a very personalized journey. The kind of priorities they have in their life, it all depends on that, right? I'm again coming back to the point, which is now slowly and steadily we are moving towards that workforce mix, which is going to be heavy towards the Gen Z or the next one which is going to come. And there is this latest debate or discussion, I would call it, which is going on. A very, very concentrated focus on mental health well-being. Okay. So what's your take, Gautam? Because about so much now from you about Max Life Insurance, with this workforce coming into play, what are some of those initiatives which are specifically in this area, which you are ensuring that you take, and it's going to help your organization to continue this trend of not just people like you who are from that generation, but the current generation also not succumb to the pressure?
Yeah. I think it's a very pertinent question, and thank you for asking that. Well-being, forget mental, well-being is the most important thing for an individual. I was in this session with Robin Sharma,
Right.
who is a writer.
Yeah, transformational coach.
Yeah,
Yes. And a writer.
a philanthropist, a writer, and a coach. He mentioned, and it's a very powerful line. Actually, it was one of the key takeaways for me from that 4 hour, session. And he mentioned that health is the crown on a well person's head that only a ill person can see. It's a very, very profound and a deep state.
Very powerful.
Now, let me ask you. There are a list of activities that you would plan for yourself in a day, in a month, or in a year. Okay. Now, for today, there must be something which is very, very high priority item for you.
Right.
In this year, there must be one item which is a very high priority. You want to finish that work, whatever, that goal before 31st of December this year.
Right.
Now, imagine if you lose your health, what becomes priority then? Suddenly, all your plans, everything that you thought was important for you in life takes us backstage.
Right.
And health becomes the priority.
All right. So, Gautam, your first rapid fire question. Here it goes. What's one piece of HR jargon you wish would disappear?
Review.
And especially,
Meeting.
Yeah. What's your favorite holiday city or country?
I would say South Africa and Spain.
What's the best professional development course you've ever taken? I'm sure as part of Max, like you've taken many, but
I think early in my career, I went through a presentation. I went through a certification, which was job evaluation. So that is something I feel it's a technical skill. It is science plus art plus some bit of logic. I like it. It's intellectually stimulating. So that is one. Off late, I'm not into too many courses. I love interactions and I love these programs where you have someone who is evolved, who is learned, who has seen life, experience, who talk about their sharing. So this Robin Sharma session that I attended, I think is the best session of my life, I would say. So I would like to attend more of those kinds.
right. I like the way you describe the job evaluation part of it. Yes. Science plus art and logic. Okay, so if you could switch jobs with anyone for a day, who would it be?
Well, I would like to switch it with a pilot.
Okay, next question, Gautam. What's the most fun team building activity you've participated in?
So anything which involves more high level of physical activity, I enjoy it. Rafting is one. I really enjoy that as a team building activity.
Okay, next question is what's the most rewarding part of your job?
Oh, that's actually a very beautiful question that you asked. I've worked for so many organizations, and you asked me this question earlier also, that why Max Life? I think it's a very noble business. You know, imagine where there is a family where a demise has happened, and you as an organization, you're reaching to their home with some financial assistance. And you made this promise to someone when they were alive that you will take care of their family when they're gone, and you're honoring it. There is nothing more noble than this, I think. So the most rewarding part of my job is that I'm connected to a larger purpose, where Max Life is serving its customers and their families by way of financial security that we are providing. And I am a piece in the entire picture, a small piece in the entire picture, who is making that complete picture be visible to the world. So it's a very noble cause.
Amazing, Gautam. What's your favorite way to reward yourself after a successful project?
Okay, I'm a foodie.
Mm-hmm.
I love movies.
Hmm.
I love shopping. So depending on how fat is my wallet, I
Or-
do any of the three.
Right. Understood. Okay. All right. So next one. Do you are you done with it? Do you want me to make it
No.
last?
No.
But it is the last.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the best compliment you've ever received from a colleague?
Best compliment. I think I'm usually complimented on my sense of dressing. Mostly that. So I just love experimenting with colors. I usually wear blazers and my formals, or even informals. I would wear blazers all the time. So I love these combination of pocket squares and blazers and trousers and shirts, which I usually get complimented for. That's the most common.
Thank you so much, Gautam, for coming down, taking out time for this podcast shoot.
Lastly, I would also like to thank the entire team here for being very patient with us. And maybe you got bored in between, but I'm happy that we participated, we got together, and whatever 2 cents I have learned, I have shared with you. Happy to hear from others as well. Once you complete this entire session, I believe there are more speakers as well that you will be.
That's right.
So very excited, and I look forward to a very successful completion of this entire exercise and project. Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam.